I don't know if this is the way to go. Who cares? It's sick. Lol. Oh my god, dude. How did this happen that, like, President Sunday is burning Straighter Aid so hard? Leaking all of this to Beckett, of all people. Why is Beckett getting all of it? Like, dude. I'm not even saying that he needs to go out and say, yes, I did it, I'm guilty of everything, da-da-da. I just hate the argument of, like, well, he can't say that because he's on the hook for legal matters. Yeah, that's a pragmatic decision that isn't, enhancing the most moral action. But I'm not here, viciously going at every single person I can see to, oh, you're sweeping, you're responsible, you're a video. This was inevitable, but I'm taking forever to go through all of this because I've got a lot to say, of course. So, I mean, this apparently has been a product of some other drama. I don't know the ins and outs of it. But this is like part 2, I guess, of the kind of leak aspect, right? We're not doing Jar today. Destiny is the only topic I'm covering today because there's so much to get through, okay? If you're expecting other stuff, come back Thursday because beyond any updates, I'll probably be more, because this is going to be a long stream going over it all. Unless there's some new updates, I'll probably be moving on to the other stuff, like the Jar stuff and the other shit that's cropped up that I want to talk about. But if you're not into the Destiny stuff, today is not the stream for you, I'm afraid. Okay? So anyway, apparently, from what I understand, President Sunday was going to raid into Cope and Seethe, and they were going to do a stream talking about it more. But then Cope and Seethe somehow got hold of like the DMs or something, and they decided to make their own video about it. Or, I don't know, Cope and Seethe apparently like spoke to Sunday and they didn't have much, and then Sunday sent them a bunch of stuff. I don't fucking know, dude. It's some stupid side drama. It's a total nonsense side quest. All very confusing. I don't know what exactly happened behind the scenes here, okay? But nonetheless, Beckett decided to make his own video, and this is then a product of said video. Very atmospheric.
Those of you who have been following Destiny in his orbit for a while may have started to notice a rift forming.
Destiny can help you with the slandering. I'd rather not.
In late November, a leak occurred which revealed, shall we say, a lot of Destiny's personal history. There has been
look, it's J-Stalk. Mr. Harass my Discord from your channel, eh? What's that all about? I've been hearing some terrible things about your behaviour, mate. What's going on? Apparently you're struggling. You're struggling off the back of floating away for having an uncontrolled deorbit from Destiny.
Speculation about the people involved in those leaks, whether the sharing of them was consensual, and people's both public and private reactions to them. What I have for you today is a breakdown of the conversation that occurred between President Sunday and Straighter Aid. This includes multiple DM leaks between the parties involved, and conversations of the general strategies being taken. But first, let me explain to you why I'm prepared to release these at all.
Okay.
When I went looking for...
I mean, it's like, I didn't tell... only told Nick. I'm pretty sure I only told Nicholas about what I knew because I didn't want like widespread fucking information getting out, just to, let things play out and see what happened. But it's like, it seems like there was like leaks all over the place. Like people were getting looped in. Whilst I don't think it was as widespread as Sunday painted it, I do understand the perception of like, damn, this is getting out everywhere because, like, I guess I don't understand why I think Straighter Aid and Sunday were friends or something like that. But it just seems crazy that Straighter Aid was so, frank. And from what I gather too, even though obviously Nicholas's leaky lips were there, from what I gather, I think President Sunday had everything he needed to do his expose before that because Straighter Aid had provided him the information.
For these DMs, having heard about them on the grapevine from a couple of sources, I'll be honest, what I found was 2 separate individuals who had received them independently, and for one of them, they were pretty far down the chain. Now, people's level of knowledge involving these leaks is debatable. Though at this point, I will say, of all the people who aren't directly
there were some total shitters that knew. Okay? That's about all I can say on that. Okay?
involved in these events, I probably have one of the fullest pictures. The story I want to tell you isn't really the story of Destiny.
Oh, fuck off, Beckett. God, this is so fucking... Dude. This video is irritating me already.
Rather, what I want to display is the machine that exists around him. Because, to be clear, that machine around him...
DK's made a comment. I'll read it out. I do not... DK says, he takes himself so seriously. Like, bro, you were sexting Stardust. That is a very rude comment that I do not... I shake my head at reading that, just so you know I disagree.
Is already being exposed.
Hi everyone. So Lonerbox has announced that he is quitting YouTube, and he gave a bit of an iffy answer for that. Like he said, it was in part because he was supposedly harassed and smeared by me and Hassan. But I actually found out the real reason just now, and it's that Destiny cucked him. His girlfriend cheated on him with Destiny.
And this drip feed of information...
By the way, that's not even what happened. That's not true. The video is from what I understand, a while ago. And obviously, you know, like Lonerbox and Pxie's relationship is not really an important aspect of this story, I don't think. But yeah, obviously that's a newer thing. So this cuck narrative, it just feels like people are saying it because it's funny. But that's not even what happened, or the fucking series of events that occurred.
...is causing so much speculation from everybody that regardless of what anybody's original intentions were, it has created more of an air of mystery, speculation, and interest than was ever needed. On November the 29th, 2024, President Sunday would reach out to Straighterade regarding the Destiny leaks and ask her to check in on Pxie. As even at that Straighterade regarding
President Sunday dropped a fucking Obama me. What, dude? This guy. This guy is, he's something else, isn't he, eh?
The Destiny leaks, and ask her to check in on Pxie. As even at that point, people were beginning to speculate that it was her in the images. They then begin discussing the situation, and how best to move forward with informing Pxie. Which leads to an hour-long call in which Sunday provides further context around the leaks themselves, and other people Destiny may have been involved with. This also includes a conversation between Lav and Pxie, which occurred during the Mr. Girl saga, where Pxie denied sleeping with Destiny when confronted by Lav. Pxie would then go private, much to the frustration of both Sunday and Straighterade, both of them realizing that in some ways this...
Wait, is that a Kiwi Farm? Is
Sunday...
that a Kiwi Farm? Uh-oh. I mean, I find it so difficult to like... Dude. Pxie is like fucked in the head over this. What? Like, of course she's not going to act perfectly in regards to this. Well, to be fair, it's Straighterade that shared it, but I think that clip that he had in his video shows that. Well, what you can say is that clip obviously came from Kiwi Farms, but President Sunday got hold of it. Whether or not through Kiwi Farms, I can't say, because some of those clips do get spread about. Yeah, dude, this is fucking insane. What the fuck? Why, dude? Straighterade. My first instinct was Straighterade handled this poorly because she was like put upon with a very difficult situation. But stuff like this just comes across as like, I don't know. I don't know what the right word is. I don't know what the right word to describe it is. Like kind of fucking Pxie over a bit, you know?
And Straighterade, both of them realizing that in some ways this was just a confirmation that it wasn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it malicious. Malicious seems excessive to me. Like I don't know what I'd call it. It just is like, God, if this is supposed to be your friend, like what the fuck are you doing?
Her to those who were speculating. Outside of these two, the wider rumor mill was obviously already spinning.
Okay, wait. Let me read through these.
This was just.
Hey, I really don't want to pry. Some stuff came out with regards to Pxie. I don't want to talk about it anywhere, but just asking if you're aware. What do I do? Just say yes, as in, yeah, I'm aware. I mean... you are given, like, President Sunday the primo juicy tidbits, right? President Sunday has seen all the orbiters fucking talk about this, and he's like, oh! What the fuck? Say nothing. Give them a night to possibly think to say something else. Tomorrow say yes and ask why. That's my advice. Reason being is that of everybody at the moment, I think J-Stock is weirdly one of the few in trust at the moment. I agree, even if he's doing it cynically.
Just a confirmation that it was indeed her to those who were speculating. Outside of these two, the wider...
What is this? Stylo getting around the place. Okay, this was posted in the Sugar and Spice Discord. Stylo gets about, doesn't he? He's in all these little discords, causing strife and trouble, clearly. An advanced operative of Spicy Chat, evidently. What is this? He's some sort of dunk meme. What does this mean? What is the context of this? I don't know what it means or what to do. Stylo's ways are mysterious to many of us, to be honest with you. Black man posts gif of basketball player. Holy fuck, panic. What do? I don't know what to think or do. I'd say the same thing. Don't respond. What does it mean?
The rumour mill was obviously already spinning, with people reaching out to see...
I think the reason I wouldn't call it malicious necessarily from Straighter Aid is I don't think what she's done is right. I think she's obviously speaking to President Sunday this frankly about it, and then, quite a few people ended up knowing about this. She probably was struggling to deal with this. I don't think it excuses some of the more shitter behavior here. But, I think that's why I probably wouldn't go all the way to say malicious. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't come across as a malicious operator doing things as harmful as possible. It just is more not really knowing how to fucking handle all of this shit. I don't know. Something like that. Something like that, I think I'd say. But obviously there's some stuff here which looks really fucking shitty.
What information or opinions other people had. There's obviously the additional factor of speculation regarding what other communities may know or be referring to when they're coming across.
I'm so happy you weren't able to monetize off this as much as you wanted because you're a Palestine... Well, I got some bad news for you. The monetization is actually going fairly well. I need to read super chats, actually. I'll have to do that. I'll have to do that in a bit once we've done this video. The podcast co-host confirms the video is real. Why did she word it in this way? Maybe she doesn't even have that undergrad. Oh, talking some shit about Erudite. Ooh, very juicy. Her convocation is on YouTube. She has it.
General memes or comments. These conversations would continue for several...
Okay. I don't know if this is the way to go. Who cares? It's sick. Lol. Oh my god, dude. Okay, that is a if you know you know moment. Lol, exactly.
Several days while they discussed the reactions from the wider community and online discourse. Picking back up on December 4th, President Sunday becomes concerned with Pxie's approach and tactics.
Oh my god. This is messages what I was talking about earlier, Spicy Chat. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. The things you guys say about me and the way you guys talk about me literally make me suicidal. I'm not joking. Do you think I haven't read the messages you sent before this one? Lamau, yeah, right. I don't need you guys to feel bad for me. I need you guys to stop acting like low-key children. It's all MCR. I'm in my emo phase, don't you know? There were some horrendous messages in Spicy Chat. The same people that now are getting on their fucking moral high horse, I've seen it happen, were saying horrendous things to Pxie. It was so bad that I ended up stepping in and saying, fucking, okay, enough, stop, this is insane. You know, and normally I don't like to be heavy-handed like that, but it was way out of control. It was insane.
Noting that that's like every wrong decision she...
So apparently the strategy Pxie is going with is to reply to people, but to pretend it isn't her. That's like every wrong decision she could make, now it's content. I know she was in Spicy Chat. I mean, yes, it's true that DK did start it, but he wasn't one of the ones that was saying shitty comments. He forgot how feral they could be, as he said earlier, okay? But then people started atting Pxie again, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, and then people went fucking insane and schizo and were like just saying crazy stuff to her.
she could make, now it's content. The concern generally being that this was only...
It is obviously undeniable that just ignoring it was the best thing to possibly do if you didn't want to, ever speak up publicly about this. Also, DK did apologise directly, that's true. Obviously, this is, a bad way to handle it. But again, it's like, well, she doesn't know how to handle it. And like, I don't know, dude. It's fucked. It's a fucked situation, But yeah, obviously it was just kind of fucked all round, really.
Reinforcing people's opinions that she was the one in the leaks, and driving people to investigate deeper. Straighterade would describe this as Sunday preaching to the choir. Importantly, it was around this time that Not So Erudite would reach out to Straighterade. She asked how Pxie is doing, but then she...
Okay, wait, what? Sorry, did I miss a screenshot? To make it a reasonable investigator for her, if she's not willing to laugh it off or be a victim or whatever, she needs to say nothing. Lying about it poorly is the single worst thing she could do. We had a total lockdown on any screenshots. There was even people that were posting memes of the leaks, but we just had a complete lockdown on any sort of material just to be on the safe side. But like, if that wasn't the case, like, imagine if someone was like responding with, like, I think someone had mocked up some sort of freckle analysis or something and shit like that. Oh shit! Whoa, 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 whoa! Fuck! I just pinched my leg on my chair. It really hurt. It really hurt. The shotty behind Tiny is going to get final use, isn't it? Oh, Lateral Spruell. I believe you're a prominent Destiny A-log from the thread, if I recall correctly. Dude, I don't fucking look. I know that you probably want to fucking see blood or something on the fucking streaming camera, but I don't know, dude. I mean, maybe, possibly. I think we're all fucking. You're sick in the head, dude. You want to see him pull. What's the name of that guy? What's the name of that dude that killed himself on stream? What's that guy called? You want to see that, don't you? You want to see that. You want to see that happen. You want to see about Ronnie McNutt. You want Destiny to pull a Ronnie McNutt. God, you guys are fucking a bit much, aren't you? Little bit excessive. Okay, she's making a reasonable investigator for it. It's not meant to laugh at or be a victim. Yeah. You preached to the choir. I've told her repeatedly denying it basically was an option and you just shut it, but she didn't listen. I mean, yeah, I don't know, dude. This is just, Straighterade should not have been speaking about it in these sort of terms. She should have been a lot more guarded about, how she spoke about stuff. Because this just comes across as very, like, what's the right word for it? Very uncaring, very unconcerned. Whereas I think that I could probably see, like, engaging with someone, trying to sort something out and becoming frustrated. Very callous, yes, thank you, callous. Yes, that's the perfect word for it, right? Whereas I could see a callousness coming from trying to talk to someone and struggling as they flip-flop on what they're going to do, which I understand was going on behind the scenes. But, like, to say it publicly to someone else, it just looks horrendous. It looks really fucking horrendous, and people are going to spin that off in a really harsh direction. Whereas I just see it as callousness, callousness born out of frustration, I think, is probably how I'd view this.
They preaching to the choir. Importantly, it was around this time that Not So Erudite would reach out to Straighterade.
Okay,
she asked how Pxie is doing, but then she asked if Pxie knew he took the video and if she consented to it being shared. I don't know why she'd even ask me that. My answer could be no on both counts, and she would not change a thing, lol. It's quite obvious that in the opinions of both Straighterade and Sunday, that Not So Erudite would be asking these things not out of concern for Pxie, but out of concern for Destiny. With a general feeling that regardless of what the answer was, Kyla's position wouldn't change.
Yeah, I think that it's like, this is it's very difficult to say this without sounding callous myself, so I think I've just got to say it, okay? I think the problem that you've got is you're trying to help someone and you are giving what you think is good advice and you feel like they're not taking it in, okay? And so you then express that frustration to others, right? But then the frustration, when assessed in and of itself, looks extremely callous and like you're being malicious, you know? Check my DMs. Why? What for? Because now you look at it and you think, God, what a callous bitch. This is supposed to be a friend that you're helping, right? But, you know, I kind of understand that a bit. Maybe not to this degree. This does seem excessive, don't get me wrong. But I can kind of understand a bit being frustrated with, you know, trying to help someone and you feel like you're not being listened to, you know? So I've got, like, again, it goes back to what I said earlier. It's like, I'm even like, I hate to say this because I don't fucking like the bitch. Even not so erudite. Yeah, it's a fucking very complex, difficult situation that you're dealing with. That you're being, you know, thrust. You're being thrust into the middle of and expected to handle, you know? But now, unfortunately, because President Sundays leads all of these, she just looks like a totally callous bitch. When, you know, what did the DMs look like initially between Pxie and Straight Raid? I don't know. But I would presume that they would probably look really, like, you could probably paint a very different picture by looking at the start of this with Straight Raid, you know, probably trying to help Pxie through what was going on, you know?
Straight Raid does also confirm that Pxie was aware of the recording at least existing, and that it had not been created without her knowledge. The conversation moves off this topic once again at this point, to the wider subject of Hassan and the Twitch war that was occurring at the time. Though it would come up again around the 1st when Straight Raid brings up Fairy Queen leaving a comment on Kyla's most recent video. Erudite seemingly
Okay, DGG, okay, listen, by all means, pump out your crazy conspiracy theories, but I don't know what the fuck that is.
had been in contact with Fairy Queen asking her to take this comment down, or at least a section of it. Though it is worth noting that Erudite is openly talking about being in contact with the victims of the leaks, and noting concern for them as the primary reason for its removal. As I'd like to do as little editorializing as possible here, I'll let it pass without much comment. Though I would like to point out at this point that the leaks themselves and the silence around them had become such a fascinating topic that even Wick TV seems to recognize that this is obviously becoming a content item.
Okay, I don't know, dude, this is... Who gives a fuck about what Wick thinks? Wick is a fucking nobody loser whose channel is on the fucking deathbed off the back of Progressive Victory pulling out. Now even more so that Destiny's in this fucking hot water because that's another fucking teat that he was reliant on. Bro, I don't understand, dude, this is like complete shit and nonsense.
In and of itself.
Keep that in mind, it's an interesting question. Symposium Brain for $20 says, Melina recently confirmed that the sex tapes leaked by Destiny's former
Jesus Christ.
girl were
This
shared
is
by
bait. To
Destiny.
be fair, listen, I'll be fair is fair. This is actually a base clip. I'll give it
Nice,
that.
good one.
This
Nice.
is funny.
She has
Yeah.
no
funny.
legal recourse.
And I got a whole bunch of super chats for you,
Okay.
Wick. Ready?
Okay. Did you not?
Wait.
Okay, fair enough.
Wick is a stinky butt. I think that's a #1 super chat.
At this point, Straight Raid accuses Kyla of being snaky about this to President Sunday, explaining that Pxie and Kyla have been in contact, with Not So Erudite acting as a kind of liaison. It's also revealed that Dan reached out to Pxie as well. And from what Straight Raid had heard, Dan encouraged Pxie to ask Destiny for a reasonable amount of money, as well as trying to get Pxie to persuade Steven not to sue Kiwi Farms. Straight Raid would then provide Sunday with the DMs between Not So Erudite and Pxie, and notes Pixie's original desire for a payout somewhere in the region of $1 million. So let me take you through the conversation between Not So Erudite and Pxie. Pxie, in blue, begins by reaching out to NSE asking whether she's had a chance to talk to Steven yet.
See, I think that for me, Not So Erudite is more considered, I think. You know, there's other people, like Queeman is like the Not So Erudite expert. He knows way more than I do because he's covered her extensively. But I get the feeling that she is very considered in her approach and how she's going about it, you know? So, yeah, I think it... Let's just watch and see what we think.
NSE responds by asking if there's anything Pxie hopes was brought up.
I'm back, guys.
Pxie then explains that depending on how that conversation goes depends on what her next course of action will be. Particularly based on whether Destiny feels like he needs to make up or repent for his actions. Timeline-wise, Pxie had already spoken to Destiny in what was essentially a brief exchange of DMs. Pxie would also...
Okay, so these are the DMs, yeah, these are the DMs.
He feels like
we need to
he'd
read
already
these.
spoken to...
There's uncensored ones floating about now, though, I believe. I'm not sure why this part got censored, but...
Destiny in what was essentially a brief exchange of DMs.
Okay. So, I guess we do have to read through these, don't we? I don't understand. This is where she's expressing the suicidal thoughts, right? Hold up there. What's up? The message actually, it's like, what is it? It's like something like as my time on this earth comes to a close. Like it was pretty harrowing, but the way it was worded was quite comedic. Also, something that kind of I glossed over in all of this. How did this happen that like President Sunday is burning Straighter Aid so hard? Leaking all of this to fucking Beckett of all people. Why is Beckett getting all of this? Like, dude. What the fuck, dude? This is so crazy how all of this spun out behind the scenes. Hold up there. What's up?
Spoken to Destiny.
Then I think talking about the leak, basically. I can't remember the exact details of this. I feel like it's hard for me to give you advice since I'm obviously implicated in everything, but I would still say some of the following things. Beckett once again is involved on an intimate level. I keep saying it, this motherfucker is everywhere. Yes, true, a finger in every pie, indeed. Things die out fast. Okay, let's just read it. I feel like it's hard to give advice since I'm obviously implicated in everything, but I would still say some of the following things. Things die out surprisingly fast. There might always be a couple of random losers online, but people move on to the next thing. And outside of some loser Kiwi farms are some irrelevant content people who will fade away in a year or two. Who is that aimed at exactly? I wonder. Who the fuck is that aimed at? Dude. Destiny clearly misjudged this, because now President Sunday has fired a devastating blow to his career, I would say. I'm guessing that's to do with like President Sunday, right? And every stuff fades away. There are people who were big online a few years ago that people can barely even find traces of anymore. Stefan Molyneux is a good example. See, it's difficult for me because I'm like, right, okay. Also, wait a second. Sorry, there's one other question. Sorry to go back a step. Did President Sunday send these to Beckett with the view that Beckett would make a video about them? Or did Beckett himself decide, well, fuck it, I'm going to make a video and destroy Straighter Aid for some reason? Anyway, like I say, I don't want to get too sidetracked in it. There's also behind-the-scenes stuff that's happened. I've heard a bit about some of it, but I don't know the full extent of it. To me, it's mainly a distraction. Okay, go back to this. Whilst what Destiny is saying here is true, that people do move on to something else, I think the problem is that it's like, I mean, I guess he does sort of allude to it here, or does say it here, right? I feel like it's hard for me to give you advice since I'm obviously implicated in everything. I mean that's kind of an admission of fault as well, I guess. But it's like, that is true. But then, obviously, you need to, like, just not talk about it and people will move on. Coming out and denying it, locking your Twitter account, etc., that's just going to bring more attention to it. So, you know, I do think that Pxie, obviously, like I say, flip-flopped on what she was going to do, and it caused this kind of confusion and issues. But I don't really feel too hard on that, because Pxie has been kind of tremendously wronged in this, so it's like, whatever, really. You still have every legal option available to you. You can always pursue stuff, and there are special civil and criminal prosecutions that even shield your name from being released. You can always do free consultations with litigation firms to check stuff like that. For obvious reasons, you should take things I'm saying with a grain of salt and pursue and check out all those things on your own. You've accomplished and done a ton of stuff in the past couple of years. When I met you a few years ago, you were yo-yoing like crazy between ultra-suicidal idea... Jesus. This is a rough read. This is a very rough read. Thoughts of being hung up on a weird guy and feeling aimless after getting your college degrees. but you've done a ton of work this year with PV, moved to and survived all in Miami all on your own, branched out into new content areas and made new friends across new communities. It'd be super shitty to not follow through for a couple of more years at least and see where you can continue to push things. See, you know, there's definitely a kind of, what, I don't know what the right word is. Like, what he's saying is correct, right? And he even recognizes it here, I guess. But it's like, it just feels kind of shitty that it's coming from Destiny, whose, you know, extremely selfish and wicked actions have led to this situation where this has come out publicly, you know? Yeah, I think DK's on the right track here. Control F, my bad. Control F, sorry. 0 results found. It's like switching to like a very pragmatic analysis straight away, you know? Cold, calculating, lacks empathy. Yeah, exactly. And it's like he does, I guess, kind of say it here. Like, I'm implicated, so what can I say? I feel we're giving you advice, but, you know, very thought out and calculated it comes across, yeah. Also, I think, from what I can gather and what I've heard, apparently Destiny stopped interacting with Pxie following some of these conversations. So he didn't actually, like, meaningfully follow up and move things forward from what I understand. And, you know, Pxie then obviously was left in a difficult situation where she didn't know exactly how to handle it, you know? So I think this would come off better if he'd have followed up and continued to have the conversation. But as it stands, it just comes across more like, you know, private damage control with some plausible deniability that he was doing the right thing in some way. That's what it comes across like to me.
In what was essentially a brief exchange of DMs.
This feels super lame, and I don't at all want to imply that somehow just giving you money helps anything go away or fixes everything for you. But if you have any bills or owe money on anything or have any financial stuff I can help with, I can at the very least chip in and help with any of that. So it's at least one less thing you have to worry about or stress over while you're worrying and getting through this. Okay. So I think there's other, I don't know if it's in here. Dude, there's been so many fucking DMs coming out. I don't even know what the fuck is up and down, left and right anymore. But again, it's like this message.
Destiny. In what was essentially a brief.
The problem with this message is it comes across as like, you know, giving some money to deal with an issue. There's not a human element to it, you know? I wouldn't even, I don't know. You could argue there's an implication somewhere. Maybe, I don't know. I don't think it's hush money necessarily, you know? Like he's talking about filing a legal suit, which would normally publicize Destiny's name because that's publicly searchable, I believe. So I don't know if he's doing if I give you money, you're not allowed to talk about it type thing. It just comes across again as very inhuman and very callous, you know? Like, it's not like, you know, I feel so terrible about what's happened, or it's not, you know, stated. There's nothing stated there that really gets across of feeling absolutely atrocious about his actions leading to this eventuality, you know? I think that's the problem with it. It comes across as very plastic in this interaction.
Exchange of DMs. Pxie would also assure Not So Erudite that she was not a danger to herself at this time.
What is he supposed to do? What would you say? I mean, when you have wronged someone privately, you would think that you would show some level of remorse or apology, or some sort of sorry, my bad. This is, you know, this is my fault. This has happened. You know, like this is going to come up later as well. But people make this argument of, oh, you can't possibly say sorry because of legal proceedings, right? And how can you expect someone to apologize or admit fault when they're in the middle of legal proceedings? And they're kind of confusing two things there, because there is like the most pragmatic approach that will minimize your legal risk, even if you've done something wrong, right? That's not necessarily the most moral approach. That's just the most pragmatic approach to protect yourself, right? Like, the most moral thing to do is to put your hands up and say, yes, I did that thing. We even incentivize this behavior in the criminal justice system, where we give people a softer sentence normally if they're willing to admit fault for having committed a crime. So, you know, I'm not even saying that he needs to go out and say, yes, I did it, I'm guilty of everything, da-da-da. I just hate the argument of like, well, he can't say that because he's on the hook for legal matters. Yeah, that's a pragmatic decision that isn't, enhancing the most moral action. You're just doing that out of a self-interested desire to protect yourself, which again is fine, but stop acting like he has to do that. He has to do that if he wants to focus on the self-interested pragmatic approach, not if he wants to do the most moral thing, which is to just admit that you've done something wrong,
Though a constant theme in Pxie's communications is this potential
That's more relevant to his statement when it comes up, but obviously I'll just chuck it in there as it's kind of relevant there.
underlying risk that she may do damage to herself. Not So Erudite asks whether she can share this with Destiny, to which Pxie agrees, citing the fact she doesn't feel like he really understands her perspective, and it may be better coming from Not So Erudite. Not So Erudite pushes a little harder to work out exactly what it is that Pxie wants. She lists what she thinks are her goals.
Kyler Maxwell! Kyler Maxwell! No! Oh my good God. Bro. This is like... Kylo's got way... Here's the most fundamental problem with all of this. To be as fair as I can be, okay? I had my disagreements with Not So Erudite before. Ever since I moved out the orbit, I didn't really pay that much attention to her because I don't care what some fucking Destiny orbiter is doing, okay? We'll use nice language. I'm not really that concerned. Apparently she made some comment in a chat about me, which, I didn't really pay much attention to because, the problem is sometimes someone can say something about you that's this, and then if you respond like this and make it this massive thing and talk at length about it, you look like a fucking psycho. But she'd made some comment about me being a bad person in a chat somewhere or something like that, right? So clearly, she had some issue with me. Off the back of that, I wasn't really particularly fond of her, and I'd found her to be a bit, obnoxious and fucking massive Destiny fucking associate, and I was trying to move away from all of that, right? So to be as fair as I can be, the most fundamental issue with this is that Not So Erudite has got a meaningful business relationship with Destiny, okay? Even if Not So Erudite had all the best intent in the world, let's say we even accept it's genuine, that she really wanted to help Pxie out and had her corner, right? The conflict of interest there is enormous, right? I don't think that you can, meaningfully interact with this in a way that absolves you of that conflict of interest. You're way too biased. Because at the end of the day, and we're seeing this more recently as well, I don't know where she stands. Apparently, maybe, I don't know if she's going to cut ties or not. I don't know where that story stands. I've not looked into that over the past 24 hours, right? Okay. But regardless of anything else, her conflict of interest is way too big. Like, from what I can gather, I'm pretty sure that she moved like her whole life to Miami in order to work with Destiny on this podcast. So how on earth are you supposed to be a reasonable, fair mediator when you've got that strong a connection? Like, you've got way too much at stake. Even if you think you're doing the right thing, I think that you've got a tremendous conflict of interest that I don't think you can overcome. And secondly, I think no matter how you slice it, you're going to get labelled as Kyler Maxwell. In fact, I think it gets referenced in the Turkey Tom discussion, which we'll get to in a bit, okay? But the dynamic, at the very least, looks horrendous from anyone that's looking at this, And whilst I appreciate Pxie, I think, has come forward and has said that they appreciate Kyler, and that's probably then going to be used to kind of exonerate Kyler somewhat, I don't really think that that's relevant to the dynamics that exist that you just cannot get past, So, yeah, I don't think Kyler, I don't want to use... I'm going to stick to the actual fucking names. Like, I hate this real name shit. Not So Erudite. I don't think can overcome that. And so it was a grave error for her to participate and get involved in this dynamic because she's way too financially and business associated to Destiny to justify having this level of interaction from my perspective.
Help removing the video from online, getting the guy who hacked charged, a sense that Steven understands how in the wrong he was and plans to prevent this from ever happening in the future. Here Pxie clarifies, what she wants is for this to be the most expensive mistake of his life. She doesn't list a dollar amount, Nor does she want to make him destitute, but it should not be easily recoverable. NSC responds, "My understanding was it was more a sense of rehabilitation and justice. But you have a specific thing you want now, which is for him to lose a certain amount of money." Pxie responds that she feels that unless he faces actual repercussions, he will never change. Also noting that this money can be given to charity. Not so erudite, seemingly unsure what to do with the conversation at this point, says she'll have to talk to Stephen, as this request for money isn't what she was expecting. With Pxie then responding that what she's looking for is a general acceptance from Stephen that he understands this as a potential course of action to rectify the situation. As she views this...
See, this is another thing where I feel like I wouldn't go so hard at Pxie over this. It's like, she, although is not going public, so, you know, I know there's the argument of, oh, well, you let another... Clearly, she's trying to do something to negatively impact Destiny so as to try and stop him from doing this again, you know? Whether that will work or not is another matter, because, you know, Destiny is clearly, you know, I don't want to mince my words in terms of a condemnation, because I do think what he's done is very wicked, you know, abhorrent, extremely egregious. But it is like, it seems like a sort of compulsive thing almost, if you know what I mean. It's like, not to say he's not responsible for his actions, but like the fact that he just does this, especially with the cherry stuff, which we'll get to as well. Like, he clearly is, I don't think he's dismissed this in some of his messages, but he's clearly got an extremely like damaging mental issue in regards to sex, right? You see what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't want it to seem like I'm saying, oh, well, he's got a problem, what can you do? I know everyone's out for the sweeper's blood. I'm not trying to sweep by saying that. I'm just saying I think what he's done is absolutely abhorrent, and it's a product of this thing that he probably needs to actually seek meaningful assistance and help to try and deal with, you know? So even if he, like, for him, I don't even know if money would help, like, stop this. I think he needs some sort of intervention. You know, it's like he needs, like, you know, when an alcoholic has an intervention, they reach rock bottom and then like they have an intervention and they get them on the wagon and they help them move forward. It's like that, right? And obviously an alcoholic can engage in behavior that's a product of alcoholism that is incredibly egregious and damaging, but you still would then want treatment for the alcoholism. It feels a bit like that with this fucking sex shit that he, you know, participates in. Just this kind of compulsive, anything goes, insane levels of hedonism behavior, if you know what I mean. Chemical cash. Whoa, okay. Whoa. Hold on. Oh, I suppose I could chuck this in here as well about the sex offender take, or the sex offender registry take. I've seen obviously various people talk about this. I saw JStalk and Irrelevant go hard on the sex offender registry take. I know that people perceive a sex offender registration as only for pedos or something like that. I think that was like the meat and potatoes of, you know, the debate Connor had with Queeman, say. I think the issue that you come up with is it doesn't have to necessarily be for something of that level. And I think that, you know, obviously we're skipping ahead a bit, but if it's true that he has recorded someone's sexual conversation without their knowledge and then sent it to someone, it is reasonable that you would want other people to know about that moving forward, if that indeed is the case. It's called, well, that's it, isn't it? It's called voyeurism. And I think that is, you know, a reasonable argument for someone to be put on the sex offenders registry for that, because it's supposed to act as like a warning to people that, you know, hey, if you hook up with this guy, he may do this really bad thing to you that's going to be very damaging, you know? So, you know, I understand it sounds harsh, it sounds very brutal. Assuming it's true, though, I don't really, like, what is the argument against it? I don't know what the argument against it is. I think it's a pretty solid argument. Well, no, what I'm saying, Nate, is like, I think we agree anyway, but it's like people think that you've got to do an actual full-blown rape or something like that. I mean, you can get put on the sex offenders registry for pissing publicly, I believe. which sounds excessive. But then there's probably some cases where someone would do that, and you're like, yeah, it is reasonable that you openly piss in front of someone in the street and don't care that they're watching you, and like, yeah, look at my piss. Then yeah, probably that's fine. If you get caught pissing in a bush at nighttime, probably not, you know? Or if you're near a school, maybe, yeah. Any piss maxers? Anyway, the point I'm making is people think it's like some sort of personal thing where it's like, and obviously there are some people that are like, I want Destiny in jail. I want Destiny to burn for this. I don't feel like that about it. I'm not sat here like with a seething hatred of Destiny thinking this, and this needs to happen to him. It's just, to me, reasonable that if you record someone without their knowledge and send it to someone else, that is like a digital sex crime, and it's reasonable that you would, you know, suffer some consequence of that. One of them being put on the sex offenders registry.
Potential penance, which is essential, in her view, to the rehabilitation process. She goes on to explain that if Stephen agrees, then great, that's an agreed course of action. But if not, then she will have to go through the court system to, as she puts it, figure this out. She goes on to note that Destiny has already alluded in DMs with her previously to financial compensation, though her concern is that he doesn't really understand the level of proportionality she is expecting from him. Kyla would then respond to tidy up.
This is the... Oh, God. The timeline of all this, when this is happening, when this radio stuff is happening. This is my other problem that I've seen with all of this. It's also like haphazard. You got these messages from a certain time. You've then got other messages which are like from straighter aid. It's all very confusing. And if I'm seeing this as confusing from the outside looking in, months after the fact, again, it's probably likely that Pxie was probably quite perplexed and confused by all of these different influences and conversations that were happening. You know? When you're in the midst of dealing with a very traumatizing thing that's happened to you.
Up the language. As in her view, it's not about punishment, it's about making sure that he is genuinely remorseful and changing his behavior. As she goes on to further clarify Pxie's position, with Pxie agreeing to the general gist. They go back and forth, with Kyla clarifying that you're not making me sad, other than like, I'm obviously sad my friend is hurting and was hurt by our other friend. Pxie makes a final clarification that Destiny needs to understand the severity of the situation, and that paying some bills, which
I mean, obviously we're going to get to it, but yeah, I don't think that Destiny understands the severity of the situation. I think quite the opposite, in fact, quite the opposite. I think that already it's being turned into some big fucking joke and meme for those that are left within his community.
A reference to her previous conversation with Destiny isn't enough. With a final
Oh my god, okay, I get that people hate everyone involved in this, okay? I wonder if Kyla would be considered an accessory after the fact and have a visa cancelled. Like, this is another frustrating thing that I see in all of this drama, is people are just frothing at the mouth for bad consequences, as bad as possible for the people that they hate, right? And it's like, I obviously just want to cover this in the fairest way that I can, without going too far in like my thoughts on this. And to me, that just comes across as very deranged. I know people are going to laugh at that and be like, based, haha, whatever. But it's like, I don't think so. No, I don't think that's the case. I think you could be critical of Not So Erudite strongly, extremely strongly, you know, without going to an extreme. But yeah, you know, God, it is tricky with this, because we'll listen to the Turkey Tom conversation later. But yeah, I think Kyla's very considerate in how she's engaging with this. I think that she is being quite clever in how she's having these conversations. And despite what maybe the perception is or how she's presenting it, I think, to me, whether it's because of an unperceived tagging on the conflict of interest or whatever, it's like she obviously is representing Destiny's side. At the end of the day, she is not going to take an action that is going to lead to, at this point at least, she's not going to take any sort of action that would lead to significant damage to Destiny. Even if that would be the right thing to do, because she's so financially attached to him. So she can't possibly mediate and negotiate in like good faith because of that connection, as far as I'm concerned.
Clarifier from Kyla that I think he was worried you would feel he's paying you for your silence, but did want to help, but didn't want to overstep. I think he is offering a lot more than you read it, but I totally understand why you read it that way. Back in the conversation between Streamline...
Yes, oh my god, see look, this is why I rate Queeman's coverage, okay? Queeman's coverage And I think he's gone deeper into the erudite stuff because he's the expert and he's taught more shit than I have. But Queen's coverage has been very good in this. And this comment is exactly why, okay? She just shouldn't be involved like this at all. She should open to Pxie with, you shouldn't trust me, I'm in Destiny's pocket. Exactly. A clear expression of your conflict of interest and give resources of who she can communicate with if she wants help. And leave it at that. Leave it at that. No further conversation. She's literally like HR, always on the employee's side at the end. Yeah.
And Sunday, Streamline notes that Pxie was discouraged by the lawyer she was talking to from pursuing this against Stephen.
And she's discouraged from the legal route after speaking with a lawyer who specialised in cybercrimes revenge porn. And they told her that the hacker is more at fault legally than Stephen. Yeah, I'd heard something about this on the grapevine from the web of leaks. So yeah, I think that it probably is... Like, if you go to a lawyer and you... like, this is new legislation that we're dealing with, okay? And it relates specifically to quite a complex online series of events. So I think you need to get the kind of lawyer that gets it, that's going to fucking go and fight for you, you know? Like, there's probably some lawyers who are not going to know what the fuck this is all about, and they're just going to be like, oh, that's the person at fault, why don't you just sue them? But not understand the complexity, particularly when it's new legislation that we're dealing with. This was it, non-consensual sharing of intimate images or something was put on the books as a federal civil thing in 2022, I believe, or something like that. So, you know, it's quite a complex situation that I think you're probably going to need to shop around to get a lawyer to understand what the case is to move forward, you know?
And this had moved Pxie to wanting to go public as she didn't feel confident in any form of legal justice. Sunday goes on to reinforce that Pxie does likely have a legal route open to her, and provides further information which Straighter is to pass on to Pxie for her to consider. Sunday would then go on to ask whether there have been further conversations between Pxie and Kyla that he's not aware of, or between Pxie and Stephen. These DMs, to put it simply, are Pxie confronting Stephen and saying that she was going to write a note, making it clear what happened and what her feelings were, while emphasizing Stephen's contribution to her current state of mind. Destiny then goes on to reassure her that she has a lot of life ahead of her, and that these leaks would pass given time. Finally, Destiny makes an offer that if she requires any help with any bills or anything, then to let him know so he can provide assistance, and it's one less thing for her to concern herself with. Straighter goes on to share some DMs from Pxie in which she laments the difficulty a legal case would present, at one point suggesting that in frustration she may get the same lawyer who works for Kiwi Farms. Conversation between Straighter and Sunday once again returns to the general topic of the leaks for several days until the 8th.
Oh yeah, also another thing worth noting with this lawsuit thing is from 2022, and from what I can gather, it could be that this incident occurred before it was on the books, but there could be some legal argument. The legal stuff is way beyond my fucking conception, so I don't fucking know the ins and outs of that, you know? I think that whatever happens with the kind of legal aspect, and whether or not there's a legal culpability there, I mean, it's just undeniable that Destiny has wronged Pxie by sending this video, putting that position on the table that it can then get leaked, you know, leading to her being exposed. That's the fundamental issue at play here, no matter how the legal stuff plays out.
January, where Straighter would share a copy of Pxie's statement regarding these leaks.
Also, another thing I just want to point out as well is that Straighter and Sunday, from what I gather, have been friends for like quite a while. So I think that, you know, I guess that for me, I struggle to understand how it played out, that we're now seeing Straighter and Sunday's DMs, you know? Was it that Sunday was kind of affronted by how Straighter was handling it and didn't like it or something? Is that what it was?
In which she states that the sharing of these images was non-consensual, and to her knowledge, she is the third person this has happened to. The timeline she provides is that this encounter,
like how, where did this come
that
from?
the sharing of these images was non-consensual.
This is like a leaked statement, I believe. Where the fuck did okay. Oh my god, dude. So did Sunday send this to Beckett in the hope that he'd publish it? Dude, it's too. At the end of the day, I am not interested in understanding the root of this exactly. It just seems like there's a lot of behind the scenes shit that's happened that I don't really understand without looking into it, and I'm not interested in doing so. But it just seems kind of wild that President Sunday and Beckett spoke, and then all of a sudden, Erin's been put on blast in this Beckett video.
And to her knowledge, she is the third person this has happened to. The timeline she provides is that this encounter occurred fairly early on in her online career. She also cites how she would pursue him in court, and that this would be a civil action. As
That's from the Substack. Pxie, okay. But this is, dude, this is why this part is particularly retarded, because it gives the impression that there's collusion here, right? Because people thought that Pxie had worked with Sunday and or Beckett, and that's like why they had the statement. And I don't know if Beckett has made it clear or not. But Pxie had nothing to do with these videos, right? All of this is based on leaks. This is not Pxie coming forward and saying, yep, here's a statement. So now people are sort of... Did he make it clear at the start there that this wasn't to do with Pxie? I don't know. But, like, this has nothing to do with Pxie. This has been leaked to Beckett or Sunday, and then it's ended up in this video.
this was clearly prepared for publication, she also notes her GoFundMe and the fact that such a case would cost money and would need wider public support. She also, at least to some degree, verifies Straighter earlier comments regarding Dan Saltzman, noting, "I have been told by a variety of people to not go public, most notably Destiny's anti-
Tiny is saying that Pxie was working with the whole time. Yeah, we'll get to his comments later. But yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Very confusing.
Twitch Crusader.
I mean, the thing is Destiny is obviously going to rely on anything he can to push a narrative that benefits him. But unfortunately, like this video in particular now presents the image of there being some sort of collusion when there wasn't, as far as I understand it. And you know, these videos, from what I can gather, totally blindsided Pxie. She had no idea they were coming out. Maybe got wind of it, but I don't think she knew exactly what it was going to be. And then, you know, obviously Nena's got to quickly get the statement out because she's had her hand forced, essentially.
Dan Saltzman. Finally, she leaves off noting that Destiny has violated federal law in his transgressions against me. He has violated my consent and is directly responsible for the sexual abuse I have received. When pressed on the release schedule of this statement, Straighter shares a DM between herself and Pxie, where Pxie clarifies that she wants to talk to her lawyer first and send a demand letter, and based on his response to said letter, release it. I originally wanted to do it by next week, but seems unlikely. On January the 10th, President Sunday would approach Straighter asking if there was any updates on the situation. She responded that she hadn't heard anything else, and she speculates that Pxie at this point may be annoyed with her and just simply ignoring the messages. Though she assures Sunday that had Pxie taken the payoff, she would have been informed. It would then be on the 16th of January where Straighter would once again reach out to Sunday, asking him whether he was aware of Lonabox's stream, in which Lonabox stated his intention to take a break from streaming, but more importantly, alluded to what happened.
It's a little bit...
Lonabox got totally fucked in all of this, didn't he? Jesus. Terrible. Terrible.
frustrating that the psycho smear campaign against me has kind of succeeded, and it's basically all because of Hassan being willing to platform it. Which is very annoying that you basically have to like suffer the consequences of someone else's stupidity, but is what it is.
He said to quietly quit streaming. He said he brought a ton of attention to the controversy. God, dude, it feels like, I know there's one comment. It feels like people are like, they just want to attack whoever they can in this. So now it's like, oh, Lonabox is a shitter too. What has Lonabox done wrong? He was talking, I mean, obviously people are going to question why he's taking a fucking break. And so he's commenting on it. Jesus, you people are deranged.
Someone else's failures as a human being. But That's not why I'm taking a break. That's just annoying. And it's something that I'll probably be able to work around by myself. But
Within this live, Lonerbox notes his frustrations with Hassan, but points out that the Israel-Palestine discourse and how
I mean, don't get me wrong, I appreciate the increased viewership, but when all of these fucking deranged freaks that are like, you know, just looking for any person that they can attack in all of this and not reasonably assessing what's happened based on the evidence, when they fuck off, I'll be very glad of it. I'm not going to lie.
being treated
Like, don't stick around, okay? I'm not the kind of person... Listen, we have some fun here. We have a laugh, okay? We have a bloody laugh. We have a good time. But I'm not here fucking, you know, viciously going at every single person I can see to fucking... Oh, you're sweeping, you're sweeping, you're responsible, you're a shitter. Although, to be fair, that comment was from a regular chatter, so take from that what you will.
regard to that content isn't his reason for leaving. The further illusions come when people bring up Destiny to him in his chat.
you've got Tiny to back you up. Both, you make quite the team when you're together. No. What do you mean stop streaming? I'm not going to stop like forever. I just need some...
Oh, dude.
It doesn't matter.
Clearly he wants to fucking say something, but he knows that it's going to cause more issues if he gets into it. But I mean, you know, obvious. It's pretty fucking obvious that Lonerbox has got some issues. Some of which you could probably discern and knowing some information about this. I mean, I don't know, dude. I'm not that bothered about how Lonerbox is handling this, you know? Silence of the cuck. I mean, what is he supposed to do?
I just need a bit of a break.
Not getting the orbit with
What was
Destiny.
the catalyst for that
Not willingly decide to orbit Destiny. That's one thing he could have done.
decision? Can't really go into detail. It's been a few things. Have you just not been enjoying streaming? I mean, I like streaming. I just there's just a lot of things surrounding the whole thing that's making it. It's just making me need to step back for a minute and reassess what I want to do going forward. Is it the IP discourse? Nope.
Lonerbox's obvious discomfort around the topic of Destiny led to what I can only describe as a cascading series of events where people began to realize that this once contained story was not going to be contained for much longer. And it has...
Okay, this seems like total... This seems like cope. This feels like trying to find a justification for going public with the story, right? Off the back of this, people would have talked about it and gossiped about it and stuff, and that would have been it. The thing that fucking made this be a big thing was fucking President Sunday's video. Before that, it was just scuttlebutt and rumours and discussions.
has not taken long for even people such as Hassan to start reacting to this news.
Okay, so what's interesting is Bad Empanada correct himself. It's not cheating, but that she had denied previously sleeping with him and then was in the leaks. Oh, okay. Okay, so that makes a little bit more sense.
This is true. Bad Empanada and Sam made videos on the saying Destiny cucked him in the leaks. Yeah, but I don't think that would have substantively proven anything because they were just talking on stream. Who would hand wave them away as, you know, whatever. It was the Sunday video that really cemented on it becoming public. Like,
So-
you could argue this had some influence, maybe, in some action somewhere. But, like, the thing that really kicked this off was President Sunday's video. Thank you for the 420. There was discussion everywhere saying it was Pxie. Okay, well, I didn't see that personally, but... You pay attention to these things more than I do, Creeman. Sunday tried to manipulate Pxie through straight... Okay, I'll do super chats and donos in a sec. I've completely missed... I meant to do it after the last video. Let me just finish this video, then we'll do super chats.
So Bonerbox starts dating a Destiny Orbiter. The Destiny Orbiter tells Bonerbox, I never had sex with Destiny. And then Destiny, in the endless interest of like trying to fuck, you know, e-girls that are in his DMs, sends his entire library of content that he filmed with his ex-wife, which I'm sure his ex-wife is not fully on board with. I would suspect that if you were Destiny's ex-wife, you probably aren't very happy about like videos of you guys having sex being distributed to random people. Including, you know, many other people. And
conveniently, Chud was on vacation when the President Sunday vid drops. Is that a serious comment? Are you seriously suggesting that the vacation that I'd booked over a month in advance was somehow linked to this happening to come out on the day that I leave?
that person that he
Ban that
sent it to,
person
their friend, I think,
immediately.
leaked all
Ban
of those
them for
videos
baiting.
and made it viral. And one of them was even Destiny like sucking a penis. And that's where the whole like did Destiny suck off Nick Fuentes drama comes from. But ultimately, ultimately, what ended up happening is, I guess that's when Bonerbox found out that his girlfriend had actually lied to him, maybe. I don't know.
Given the nature of the developing situation, President Sunday suggests having a call with Straighter Aid to explain to her that...
okay. No, I can see it. Right. No, sure, okay. So yeah, okay. No, I can take the L on that. So the cascading effect. Yeah. I can see that. Okay. This had an impact, which then led to a pushing forward of the video coming out, essentially. Right?
very least, Pxie's involvement is now public discourse. And most pressingly, that the conversation between Pxie and Erudite had leaked to a wide range of people. Sunday...
Well, okay, the actual conversation... I don't think Hassan had it, for example. I think Hassan was just piecing it together with the public information that was available. So I do see the idea of like, well, it was public information anyway. Yeah. I don't know, I was busy. I was busy when this was all fucking spinning out and then President Sunday releases video. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Hassan was repeating Bad Empanada. I mean, Bad Empanada had some of the details right, but was wrong about the broader narrative. But then Hassan kind of corrected it, didn't he? He said about the cucking thing not being the case.
For his part, had been approached for a conversation by another content creator regarding these leaks, as people were beginning to try and work out how much information everyone else was holding. They begin going back and forth, discussing who the leaker of the leaks may be, though honestly, looking through it...
Oh, you reckon Hassan is reading Destiny's Kiwi Farms thread? Creeman, is that what you're saying? Okay. I mean, the fact he was able to correctly correct that information is quite telling, I guess, isn't it?
It's sort of an elementary question at this point. But we do get one more interesting detail, and that's the fact that Straighter Aid had been discussing all of this with Destiny throughout this period. In fact, it was Straighter Aid who suggested to Steven compensation. Sunday asks, but given that your impulse is to try and find a mole, I'm going to assume that what they said is accurate. You suggested Steven pay for Pxie's law school. Straighter Aid responds, this was one of my few suggestions.
Okay, I can see what happened here. Like this message, dude, I feel like President. This is the kind of thing that President Sunday would be like affronted by. Okay, hearing this is the kind of thing that would make him, you know, his moral perception would be shattered by this, and he'd feel like he'd be obligated to then make a video about it. This is exactly the kind of thing that President Sunday is gonna, you know, hear and be like, I must make a video about this. There's extortion afoot.
I said that she's in a precarious financial situation, that she's not consulted her therapist, and that therapy bills or payments to assist with law school would be money that would be productive to her because it's something...
Oh no. That looks horrendous. That looks terrible. Going and speaking to Destiny and giving all the juicy goods.
...to look forward to. She refuses to tell her family, and things were breaking down with Lona. And I felt overwhelmed being one of, I don't know how many people she let into a limited support network. What follows in these DMs is essentially Sunday emphasizing the situation to Straighter Aid. At time of recording, Bad Empanada has come out with a video titled Destiny is a sex criminal, shed porn of multiple people without consent. The spiraling situation is what led to Sunday coming to me. He was aware already that I'd been looking for these DMs, and was aware at the very least of their existence.
Yeah, I think I hadn't seen all of this. So the thing I guess I didn't grasp from my own perception of what was happening is that there was this whole other shit happening behind the scenes and stuff like that. You know, some of this other stuff. Like, there was like a whole engine of shit going on that then led to this all occurring. Fuck, man. That's crazy. Straighter Aid, a self-admitted communist. Yeah, I mean, the trouble is like, I get it. I get the idea that you're talking to someone, you're trying to help them, and They're not doing the things that you think are right that you're giving them advice on. But I think that, you know, again, going to Destiny so plainly is like a massive error. I mean, you know, certainly now you can look back at. I mean, I think I saw some of the messages floating around between her and Destiny. Is that in Destiny's statement? I think that's in Destiny's statement. So we'll get to that when we get to it. But it's an awful look. It's an absolutely awful look. You know, it just comes across like you're, you know, doing like you're not really helping. It comes across like you're not really looking to help your friend out. It comes across that you're, you know, looking to do a bit of a Ghislaine Maxwell type thing. But I don't know if Straight Raid's doing that. I don't know if Straight Raid is intentionally going out there and being like a fucking Maxwell type figure. I do think it's a product of her frustrations in you know, having to deal with all of this. She's playing both sides, so she always comes out on top. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll get to it when we get to the Destiny statement, but let's finish this video for now.
Because he wanted to provide a fuller context for them, rather than just me releasing them in a tweet, he offered this wider conversation with Straight Raid, hoping it could help fill in any blanks, along with any outstanding leaks or information which I may not have. I have attempted to present this information with as little bias as possible. I really just want to provide you with a wider context for what has been happening.
Everyone got played by Sunday. Everyone did.
Within the DGG machine. I personally never sought out the Destiny leaks. I have now read more of Destiny's Kiwi farm page than I ever wanted to. And while, if I'm being frank, I'm not
God, yeah, it's dude. Style it, bro. Okay, Queenman's okay, I'm gonna glaze. Stylo already complains about this, so let's see. Queenman's coverage has been exceptional and fair in all of this. Stylo, every time I've seen Stylo comment on this, it's like he's reading my mind. It's like he knows exactly what I'm thinking and my perception of what's going on. It reads like she's been helping Pxie for the entire 2 months these leaks have been public, and Pxie doesn't want solutions. She wants to cry and TOS herself. Erin is fed up to this point. I probably wouldn't have worded it quite that way. That's quite a, you know, an ethnic wording, should we say. But yes, that's what I'm getting at, right? Like, I think, again, it's like people sit at the sidelines and they've got all these takes about it. But there is a frustration there. And I think Straight Raid has probably gotten to the point where she just wants to fucking be done with this and move on and not have to fucking endlessly litigate this out and stuff like that, right? Like, from what I've heard, from what I understand, and again, I'm not trying to be harsh to Pxie. I think Pxie is, like, been massively wronged and it's totally fair that she doesn't know how to deal with this. But it's like, you know, one day will say one thing, another day will say another thing, and it's very difficult to, you know, engage with and communicate with that and get the best resolution for the person. You see what I mean? So in that situation, it's not a poor Straight Raid thing. It's just trying to explain the intent behind these actions. And the reason that I think I'd make that differentiation from, say, Not So Erudite is, as far as I understand it, Straight Raid doesn't have a financial connection to Not So Erudite. To Destiny, like Not So Erudite does. So Not So Erudite is in an unquestionably compromised position in dealing with this, whereas Straight Raid is, you know, trying to help a friend initially, but then gets very frustrated and starts speaking it's not to say that she should have done it even. She obviously should have kept her cool and not fucking spoken so plainly to all of these different people, because now she looks fucking horrendous. But, you know, I just think that this doesn't read like a malicious, like, oh, I'm going to pull the strings of everyone and stuff like that. It just comes across as, I'm really fucking pissed off with having to deal with this, and speaking too plainly with people that you probably shouldn't, you know?
Surprised or stunned or shocked by the leaks. I'm not a Destiny fan and never have been, but I've never hated the guy either. Unfortunately for me, this story is one that is basically impossible to ignore. It has been fascinating watching people dance around this topic, and at least for me, this is the part of the story that I wanted to know about. I'm not an accountability channel. I frankly don't care to be.
There we go. So, damn, dude, how long, bro, how long have we, 4 hours? Bro, 4 hours I've been streaming for, and we got through the first 2 things I wanted to talk about. Anyway, that, ladies and gentlemen, is that's not actually Max Striker, by the way. I know who that is. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the first part of this story, which is the initial videos which caused this massive drama to kick off. Okay. I will now read super chats. I'm unmuting notifications and I'll read through all the super chats. It's going to be a while because there's been a fucking load of them. Okay. And I've missed fucking tons of them. Okay. So let's go through them here now. So, Little Steve's Hooded Cobra. Hiss. Thank you for the 420. Herbie, good to have you back. Good to be back. Thank you for the super chat. I'm actually really enjoying today's stream. So I'm glad to be back. Feel very relaxed. I have gotten one guide a few times, okay? But we're having fun with it. We're having fun with it, ladies and gentlemen. Raz, thoughts on Elon's sussy emote based on they? I've not looked at it enough to say with certainty what's going on there. Maybe some plausible deniability. I don't know, dude. It was a bit of a weird hand gesture, but I think that freaking out about it only leans into the controversy and that doesn't really benefit anyone. Chat, like the stream you're sweeping. Very true. Thank you for that. Squirrel Age, who would have thought that mid-tier Jew pussy would have won? Very true. Thank you for 333. And Butterflies, welcome back. We love you. I love you too. Thank you for the membership. Lassiel, Destiny would not allow competition near him, hence his simps need to be boring to fuel his small PP ego. Possibly a line of analysis, certainly. G's, welcome back, Chud. Thank you. Happy to be back. Roel, Dan did not sweep. He vacuumed up Destiny's whole Gok and Ghouls. Well, hopefully at some point today we can watch a bit of that stream. That might be fun. Cheesy Mr. Lips, indeed. Mr. Lips, big lips like a you-know-what. That's what we call him. What we call him. Oh, I think we've read some of these already, haven't we? Oh, yeah. I've seen these already. Oh, yeah, I've read this one already. Hang on, wait. There's loads here. I don't want to... Oh, no, I've seen these already. These come up already. Dude, I'm repeating myself. Mr. Lips. Sorry, I'm trying to skip through to the ones that we haven't seen. From here, maybe? Welcome back, Chad. Missed you, brother. Thank you for the 20. When an unstoppable... Oh, here we go. When an unstoppable stimulant aficionado meets an immovable disabled should be the title of this. I'm assuming that's about President Sunday, so I think that's where we were. Welcome back, Chad. Happy to be back. If I recall correctly, Nick did record the call. I know he said there was a whole half-hour cut, and we showed it. Yeah, we watched some of that just a moment ago. Thank you for the $5. Unfortunately, President Sunday did win. Unfortunately for Nicholas. Jack Walker, President Runday is as greasy as Randy Pitchford. Okay, thank you for the super chat. Giles with the sub, thank you. Nicholas Diorio, Chud leaking Bo Black's dress allegations led to his hog being on my timeline. We're even now. Okay. By the way, just to be clear, as much as I've talked a bit of shit about Nicholas, okay, and whatnot, I'm still friends with Nicholas, obviously. It's mainly banter more than anything else. I'm not going to lie, though, with everything that's happened. I'm not going to say I haven't chortled at people talking shit about him. Normally, I feel more inclined to defend my my friend Nicholas there. But I've had a bit of a chortle, especially after some of the recent Gok jokes as well. Cassie Flocken, did Destiny F Dan? I don't think so. Nate, welcome back. Happy to be back, thank you. Nate with the 10 gifted memberships earlier. Thank you very much. That's exceptionally generous. Thank you. Appreciate that. Silver with the $10. Welcome back, Chud. No goal. Yeah, I mean, I figured today was going to be a bit of a bonanza for super chats as it has been. So maybe we'll set up a goal as we go into the next video. We'll do something with that. Cornvats, the absolute caucasity of Molestiny, the blue-haired booty bandit. He enjoys a butt sandwich. He eats some doo-doo dips and chips. Praise the saints. Thank you for that, whatever that is. Jopper, ego gobbled it for clout and it went wrong. Boo-hoo N. I wouldn't personally put it like that, but thank you for the 250. Bungus, sorry, Chud, but I can't think for myself. You're going to have to disavow Sunday so that I can then form my opinions around yours. Okay, thank you for the $5. Ghislaine Maxwell. Erudite did nothing wrong and everything right. Loving the week-long dip in the finasteride tank is done for you, by the way. Yeah, I've heard that. Well, I've heard people saying I was going to be finasteride dipping and come back with a rage. I actually feel very relaxed, very calm and relaxed. Perfect state of mind to go over all of this. DGG verse. At chudlogic, do you think Erudite is comparable to Ghislaine Maxwell? as a comedic aspect, 100%. But I mean, obviously, you know, the severity of the acts of Epstein dwarfed what Destiny did, of course. So it's not exactly the same. But they're, you know, for comedy's sake, sure. Let's say yes. It's Toll. Thank you for the $10. Yes, baby, we're back. Indeed, we are. Himster, thank you for the Prime sub. Bilson, the recklessly, not maliciously part always bugged me. Legal stand in the US for this crime is reckless disregard, not malicious intent. Well, just beyond that as well, beyond any legal stuff, if you're at a fucking building site and someone chucks a hammer off of a fucking scaffolding versus accidentally knocks it off with their elbow and it hits you in the head, you've still got a massive dent in your head from where the fucking hammer's dropped. Yes, there's obviously some like legal aspect where you might assess it differently, but it's like you're still getting fucking damaged and injured off the back of that regardless. So from your perspective as the person who is getting hit with a hammer, maybe you're not going to necessarily care that much about whether or not it's malicious or fucking reckless or whatever. We could talk about it and analyze it and stuff like that. But, you know, it's like, I don't know, dude. It just feels a bit like, okay, well, if the act is someone is still being hurt really badly, you know, what does it really matter that much? But legally, sure, and assessing someone's motives, actions, whatever, yeah, okay. Count Slopula. The career, reputation, and emotional damage that this whole thing has caused is like worth multiple millions to Pxie and others impacted here. I don't know about millions, but I think that new law, which, you know, is like 150k or something at most. I don't fucking know. But anyway, who knows? I guess we'll see how the legal stuff spins out. Destiny looks for dates outside of mental asylums. Apparently, thank you for the $2. Topher, when would the wake-up call come if it's never happened? Will the person change? Maybe, maybe not. But how those around the man behave reveals their character. KF Josh said if Destiny tries anything, he'll ruin him in litigation. Apparently, he's sick of lawfare. Oh, that was a Kiwi Farms lawsuit thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the law enough to say, but I would have presumed that Kiwi Farms has got a pretty good legal standing, even if, you know, you don't like the fact that they've got the leaks and stuff on there. But I don't know how that spins out and what that looks like. Press 3 if you support all diddligers. DGG is that meant to be? To be fair to SC, they remember how NSE and PX talked about you after your nights where you had a few drinks and they were doing a casual PV stream. Thank you for the membership. Did Epstein and JLP hook up? Do you love black men? Sure. About my need to chudlogic, full apologies. Oh, Camus! Camus, I remember it was a gaming stream and you were arguing in chat about what I'd said to Tom on the 30th of December. And then you even left a little snarky comment on the video itself. Tom was right. I mean, look, I'm not really here to do the whole, like, you know, it's whatever. I think it's pretty easy to figure out that this stuff was unlikely shared consensually. But I don't really, you know, whatever. I'm not really that. I don't feel so. I'm very calm and whatever covering this. I'm not like super emotional one way or another, really. You know, it's just I think because I'm back from my break, I feel very relaxed. Maybe in the next few days I might become more obnoxious. We'll see.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
Chud, do you think it's that Erudite loves Destiny or she is trying to prevent him leaking the Destiny and neck top tape with the foot mirror thumbnail?
Thank you very much for the super chat. Also, like, this is why I'm kind of like a bit annoyed with J-Stalk. This is why I'm a bit annoyed with J-Stalk, because he has literally just got off the Destiny train and he's trying to chastise others for sweeping, right? You know, I look at it and I think, yeah, I've obviously got criticisms of people, but it would feel a little bit obnoxious for me to go super hard on like, you swept. Like, I used to be an Orbiter and I definitely gave, you know, more favourable coverage to Destiny at times. So, you know, I'm not going to fucking sit here and be like, I'm completely absolved of like, you know, having given favourable coverage in the past for Destiny's benefit. I was an Orbiter. So I'm just a bit like, you know, I'll make my position clear and make my thoughts on it clear. But I just find this whole sweeper hunting thing very obnoxious. You know, I find it very obnoxious the way that people are doing it, especially people that have literally just stepped foot outside the plantation for the first time. Do you know what I mean? Like, shut the fuck up, bro. Take a seat, you know, and stop fucking piping up when you were literally within the plantation recently. It's not that long ago that he was in that call with President Sunday, where President Sunday was pressing Destiny, and he muted President Sunday after Destiny had fucking said what he believed to be his real name. Like, what? Do you know what I mean? Pipe down! Pipe down, J-Stalk. They're Chud orbiters now. I mean, you know. Beyond like, you know. Beyond... I don't want to inherit the dynamic. Like, listen. Okay? I don't want to fucking sit here and fucking suffer the same drama dynamics. That's why it's kind of annoying that J-Stalk apparently was like, you know, trying to bring people into my Discord or talk about getting a link to my Discord. Do you know what I mean? Like, bro, stop trying to fucking invoke the same bullshit drama shit that I'm just not interested in participating in. All right, what's this?
I think that Lauren, Jasmine, and Farha are like girls, if you know what that expression means. So they'll kind of like support each other. But like, you know, yeah, whatever. What's the point of being this vague if nobody can ever understand this? I think you understand enough. Wasn't Lauren talking to Jasmine when they first met? Yeah, she...
SDLK, he got done dirty. He was banned for defending Cherry, a co-host of his, and actually apparently another victim.
Yeah, I respect J-Stalk for speaking up on that. Don't get me wrong, okay?
He goes back and forth on a lot of people. She's just very, very, very dramatic. I don't really care too much about all of this. Like, none of this really matters that much to me because none of these people are that close to me. The only reason I'm saying anything at all now is because there's two really weird and annoying things that are happening. One is that Lauren keeps like typing messages that make it sound like I'm secretly recording people having. That's what it sounds like.
This is an L take, Chud. J-Stalk was literally defending Erudite from Oreo's sweeper hunting. This is what I'm saying, though. It's like, this whole thing is cancer. Everyone is like pointing fingers at each other of who swept the most and who swept the least. And I'm saying that out of everyone, J-Stalk is someone who recently has said out loud that he sweeps for Destiny because it's financially beneficial to do so. That's what I'm saying. There are people you can say have had some sort of sweeping or something like that. But there's levels to this, and there's people that are closer that have swept more. And when the people that are the closest and have swept more are coming out swinging at other people for sweeping or sweeper hunting, whatever you want to call it, it's very fucking obnoxious. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, dude, I've not even listened to this clip.
Because she's saying things like, oh yeah, Steven records people in his apartment, he's nasty. Now, she's probably going to say, well, I didn't mean it that way. But that's what she's making it sound like, number one. Yeah, I think that...
Okay. Yeah, this is about the Lauren, because apparently Lauren, there's a video of Lauren saying that Destiny recorded people without their consent.
Farah was another person he brought on cause they had fun. Destiny should have been cancelled back then.
Thank you for the super chat. I don't hate J-Stalk. I don't hate anyone. Dude, I'm coming to the table. I don't even hate Not So Erudite. Maybe, did I say that earlier? I don't hate Not So Erudite. I just find her exceptionally obnoxious and annoying. Okay? He admitted he fucked up. That's a fucking troll comment. I have the best clips. Dude, all this fucking... Dude, this is going to Queenman's head. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Let me go through super chats and then we're going to look at the Pxie statement, okay?